My name is Brett Lashley. I'm the Benton County Mayor, and I've got District 1 Commissioner Ward Plant, Don Patton, District 2 Kenneth Miller in attendance. So we're your local elected officials, but our guest here is also Mr. Jake Rogers with Congressman Kusov's office, Sam Nenow with Congressman Green's office. So we've got multiple levels here that y'all can ask questions on, whether it's county related or whether it's federal related. Hopefully we've got a little bit of knowledge or information that we can convey on each level. So thank you for being here. It's been a while since we've been in Holladay because COVID hit and it put a big strain on our ability to have live in-person town hall meetings. We were enjoying them. We had great interaction and a lot of information exchange, and that really set us back. So it's good to be in Holladay. I'm going to say one last time for me because I've been called up to active duty. Actually, I report tomorrow, and we'll ship out sometime the Fort Bliss next week, and I'll be gone for 10 months. So as a county government, they'll have to elect an interim mayor, and that process can take anywhere from 1 month to 4 months. It really depends on how the county legislative body kind of wants to attack it, and are they committed to a candidate to be able to fill my role until I come back. My recommendation, and has been for the last several months, that we're already behind. I feel like the county should never really be without a county mayor. Just for your financial aspects of management, it can cause a big disruption not having your chief financial officer in place. So the county legislative body chose another approach, and I imagine over the next month you'll probably see a lot of information disseminated to the public about electing an interim mayor. Upon my return, I go back to the seat. So I'm projecting that my departure will probably last no more than 11, probably somewhere around 10, a little over 10 months total time.
Who do you recommend?
Well, my first choice was actually Judge Summers. And the reason I chose Judge Summers was because he's the audit committee chairman, and so he's got a financial, they watch the finances of the county, and I felt like having some type of financial expertise or at least some oversight. You kind of go into it with a different mindset. The mayor's office it runs all the financial operations for the county. Ultimately, he's non-biased. He doesn't have a stake in the game over here or a stake in the game over there. So I felt like he was someone that would just come in without a personal agenda or a political agenda. He would do his job well, and he would move on, step aside upon my return.
Is he a retired judge or is he an active judge?
Well,
where was he a judge at?
Well, we call him Judge Summers because at one time he was the District Attorney General for Tennessee. So right now it's Herbert Slattery. So basically your chief law enforcement and legal arm of the state comes from the Attorney General's office. He had served in that capacity for 12 years. Very respected. And as we've learned in this particular role, you've got to be able to pick up the phone and reach out to people on higher levels, and he had those connections. But he's been a resident of Benton County for 21 years, but again, it's one of those, he's not from around here type thing. A lot of people don't know him. He works normally on the judge circuit all over. But very respected, and I felt like he would just come in with a non-biased approach and just do a good job. But politics is politics, and that's the name of the game, and it is what it is. And so you either have political support behind you to get you elected, or you don't. And so that's probably one of his weaknesses. He's not very active when it comes to playing the political scene in Benton County. So from the commissioner's level, they see a different game. They're being lobbied by their peers a lot of times, people that might have an ambition to step in my seat. So ultimately, your legislative body, your commissioners, decide. And so we know that with any election, a lot of times it's about who you know, it's not what you know. But the reason I'm kind of concerned here is that once you elect a commissioner, if one of these commissioners were to elevate into my seat, they've got to resign their seat. So there's another disruption. We've got to go through the process of filling a commissioner's seat now. And so I've got a feeling that it'll probably come down to one or two commissioners being selected. It's going to cause ripple effect. After a few months, I'm sure it'll all work itself out. But at the end of the day, I just wanted someone in the office that wants to keep us moving forward, wants to keep it, I guess you'd say, an energy that's needed for that office, and someone that's got a little bit of seasoning that can handle any and all kinds of public complaint, concern, ideas.
Plus he has legal knowledge, which would cut back on the legal expenses from the county attorney.
Well, and it would definitely help, you know, but sometimes we fear lawyers too, you know what I mean? Sometimes they know too much, and, but from what I've been able to see with Judge Summers, I was very impressed with what he's been able to do for the county already. That was just a personal though, that my observation and analysis. There's a lot of qualified people, and they'll all have an opportunity to step up, to either self-nominate or to have a commissioner nominate them. It's an open process. You just keep voting until it gets down to 2 people, and then the commission chooses.
Let's ask the Rogers brothers how they feel about Judge Summers sitting up there running big.
Hey, and that was my uncle. And
okay, he won't even let them go up there and visit their family. And if they did, they could go, one of them could go, only 2 people could go, and one in a year's time, and they had to call Samuel Webb and his wife and make an appointment to go at their discretion.
I know. Hey, my sister B was neck deep in that whole legal process, and the thing is, you got to understand, a judge is a judge. They hear both sides. So that could have been my uncle. My uncle didn't have good legal representation to advocate his case. You know, so I don't blame the judge. You know, a lot of times that could be a lawyer just not being together and being able to make a persuasive argument to a judge, because this judge didn't know anyone from out in that process. I wish that I could have been an advocate for that, but you know, it's water under the bridge. It's past us now.
That's right.
And I think that situation probably worked itself out in the end anyway.
Because they died.
Well, you know, the landowner has died too. You know what I mean? And so the landowner.
That's what I'm talking about. Sammy and his wife died.
Well, no, my mother is still alive. Okay.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about is Sammy Webb and his wife would not let them on their property.
Correct.
Sammy Webb and his wife died.
And that's why a new owner of that property, the whole situation may change.
It's already changed.
Okay.
But
you were getting at the judge.
yeah, okay. Now Sammy Webb was, I don't know, he's worth about $3, $4, $5 million. So how much did he pay that judge for that judgment?
You can't read the
I don't know that.
I think that's just one. I think that's one of those old, you know, our country boy mentality thinking something's not right there. But you know, again, I'm involved with that from a family member's perspective, and I'm just going to say, at the end of the day, one legal team made a persuasive argument, and the other legal team didn't. You know,
That's right. And let me just say this, and I'll shut up about that. The reason I said that, you're a veteran and I'm a veteran. Okay. I had been back out of the service not very long, back in Vietnam. I was sitting in HIS factory with Sammy Webb. And he was sitting there just like this. And he told me out of his own mouth, he said, if your mother and daddy would have had any money like my mother and daddy did, you wouldn't have went in the service and went to Vietnam. He said it cost my mother, now listen to this, he said it cost my mother $20,000 to keep me out of the service, and she would pay $40,000 just as fast. Now with that being said, that's the reason I have.
that's his motive. I mean, that's the way he operates and moves.
That's right.
Like I said, I'm just gonna say that I'm not gonna prejudge anybody. I'm not gonna prejudge a judge. The innocents are proven guilty. And in this case, that's not the only case of misperceived injustices. You know what I mean? I mean, they happen every day in the judicial system. But at the end of the day, the county legislative body is going to determine who my interim replacement will be. Okay, so reach out to your commissioners if someone from the general public wishes to step up and actually put themselves up for the nomination. It's an open process. The county legislative body will choose the replacement. So again, 10 and a half months from now, we get back, we'll resume live in-person town hall meetings. I love them. We do. We started our first one in Big Sandy. We focus on Holladay and Big Sandy simply because y'all are further removed from your county seat and may not have access to your county government or other government officials that the city of Camden might have. So that's why we love having these town hall meetings down here. We'll get to some questions. Let's get through some things, and y'all can feel free to ask them when you get to them. First of all, we want to give you an update. Okay, just where are we as a county government? Last night, normally in the month of June of every year, we'll pass our budget. For the last, I think 4 or 5 years, we've passed a timely budget. A timely budget is a budget that's passed in June because the next fiscal year starts on July the 1st. We did not pass a budget last night. I believe we put forth a pretty solid budget. There was a little bit of argument over did it do enough. From my fiscal management perspective is we want to help all of our county departments. We want to be supportive of all of our county employees, and we know in our county employees you've got law enforcement, you've got the educational system, you've got highway system. I mean, we want to support all of our county departments and county employees, but there's the old adage that's been passed down for lifetimes, and it's, you got to live within your means. And so one of our focuses as county government when I became your mayor was, first of all, to live within our means or to make good fiscal decisions, we've got to know our fiscal numbers. And a budget can be very intimidating when you're looking at a stack this thick of pages upon pages of financial data. Well, our approach first was you've got to be able to trust your data. Who is compiling the data to be able to present to these gentlemen here, these county commissioners, to be able to make their decisions. So our first approach was to go land and secure a financial, what we call a financial budget advisor, but they're the person that prepares the budget. She is a CPA out of Decatur County. She does audits for the state of Tennessee. She audits the state of Tennessee. They specifically call her in, and she has served several counties in her capacity. So we felt like she had experience and the proper educational skills and professional skills to be someone that we could trust to be able to put our financial data together that we could trust and make decisions from. All I can say is I believe if you talk to these commissioners, I believe we hit a grand slam of her. She has kept our financial data accurate. She applies it properly, and as a result, we've had 3 consecutive budgets, probably last night, that balanced. They weren't just legal budgets, they were balanced budgets, and with no tax increases. And as a rural Tier 4 county, we are declared at risk. A lot of times you're financially struggling, but we have balanced 3 straight budgets. And last year we had actually a 22-cent tax rate decrease. Okay, now, JR, you've got a good memory. And I know I can remember back pretty far, but I've never known Benton County to ever have a tax decrease. Okay? And we lowered your tax rate 22 cents, and that's never been done. I don't believe we could have done it if we did not have the financial advisor that we secured from day one to be able to bring us the accurate data to make that decision. So that's a celebration of our county commission, sticking to the plan, making the tough decisions. But with a 22-cent tax decrease, this past year, we've also had record fiscal revenues, okay? So our sales tax revenues are well above, almost double above what they have been in the previous cycles. Our property tax intake has increased because our property valuations are now going up. All right, people are buying in Benton County. Before we were a declining stock. Now, a lot of people says, well, doesn't that affect your payment of your taxes? I mean, you know, if my property's worth less, I actually pay less taxes. But I look at it as a stock. Do you want to buy a stock at $100 and sell it for $50? Do you want to buy a home and put money into it at $100,000 only to be able to get $50,000 out of it when you sell it? I don't know of anyone that's in the intent of losing money. So when you see your property valuations going up, what that means is your property tax collections go up, and as a result, you don't have tax increases. Normally, tax increases comes in the bad times because they're trying to patch up the revenue that they've lost. So I'm very proud of the fiscal structure that we've been able to build in Benton County. I'm proud of the budgets that we passed. Last night, we put forth, to me, a solid budget that gave raises to county employees, law enforcement. It balanced the budget and met all the needs that were projected over the upcoming year. And sadly, it didn't pass. People didn't think that the raises were enough, and they made a persuasive argument to make us go back to the drawing board. So a lot can happen in a month, and my worry is that at the end of the day, I want us living within our means. I want to give everybody raises when they deserve raises, but sometimes you've got to gradually move in that direction, okay? But your decision makers are right here in the room. I trust that at the end of the day, y'all will make a good decision on the next budget. Another thing, over the last 2 budget cycles, the county has secured $6 million in debt. $4 million to the schools, $2 million in the county. Yet, Benton County raises the lowest tier debt per capita in the United States. Okay. Now, of course, we're probably lumped in with a few hundred other communities, but our debt is very low, and we're very fiscally sound. So again, part of this is the county commission making good financial decisions along the way. Our county passed the $1 billion property valuation mark for the first time in history. We met that benchmark in January. So fiscal-wise, Benton County is in excellent shape. Do we wish we had more revenues to be able to do more when it came to law enforcement and public safety? Yes. But time and things like that takes time. We got to get investment coming into the county, people building homes, and paying into the system to be able to meet our public safety needs. It's coming. I'm going to say that when you look at the south end of the county, you're very uniquely situated of what I perceive to be the next growth area for Benton County. Why do I say that? It's mainly based around the interstate. We know that today people are commuting for work, and we know that people are leaving your urban areas, coming out to the rural areas. And so what that means is you're probably going to see some homes being built around here, commercial industries coming in and investing. So you got to be prepared for that. How do you prepare for that? You prepare through your utilities. You know, what's your electric grid lines like? What's your gas, public utility gas structure like? What is your water and sewer? Mr. Ward Plant over here is the chairman of the Benton Decatur Sewer District. He's been a member of the board for several years. We focused on trying to get commercial investment immediately for the south end of the county at the interstate. Well, we had to basically change the sewer structure for that in order to entice industry to expand or to locate there. Was our sewer plant operating at the capacity it should? No. It had actually gone from over 20 customers, to so down to 10. So So basically, you had a sewer utility that cost us, the taxpayers of Benton County, over $1 million. And we shared that with Decatur County. But we could not make our financial payment for that particular system. So we knew we had to turn that system around. We went in there, studied the rate structure. We had a rate increase to the commercial entities on it. We began applying for what we call state public wastewater grants. We've secured grants for expansion, changed our rate structure, and this year, for the first time, compared to last year, is the sewer utility made over $100,000 of profit. Okay, so we basically corrected a failed system for you, because at the end of the day, you, the taxpayers, were still on the hook to pay that system off. So we were having to go to the counties a lot of times to be able to fiscally support that entity. Now that entity can stand on its own 2 feet. It can pay the notes for Benton County, which our obligation now outstanding is $500,000. So roughly $55,000 a year we take from taxpayer money to be able to pay into debt service. Now that sewer entity is paying its own way. That frees up $50,000 for the fiscal budget that allows these gentlemen to make decisions and support their county operations. So we're now beginning to see, and Ward, you may want to chime in, but we're beginning to see commercial investment at the interstate. The Dollar General has located down. We've got Love's on board. We've got a hotel over in Decatur County that's looking to expand. I know that we've had talks of a water park up on 641. They've been to the sewer utility to ask us a little bit if could they meet us halfway on running sewer lines down 641, and so we're in discussions with them. But at the end of the day, the good news is we're beginning to see investment at our interstate. That sales tax revenue for our citizens, property tax valuations going in to be able to support county operations. So good news is happening at the interstate. Beginning in the spring of 2023, they will begin 3-laning I-40 starting in Benton County. They're going to go all the way to Memphis. Benton County is the first stop. And so in the spring of 2023, they'll begin 3-laning our interstates. When they do that, they're going to improve our exits down here at 126, making it better and more enticing for truck and regular autos to be able to get off and do business in Benton County. The industrial board secured a 25-acre property down here at the corner, right across from Dollar General, at the corner of Gossett Road at 641. The purchase price of that property was about $305,000 in total cost. It didn't cost you a single penny, not a single penny. So your industrial board moved. They sold timber in your industrial park, made the money and just rolled it over into a prime 25-acre location, which will again be an enticement for commercial investment. That's just using your money very wisely, very efficient and effectively. We are now also talking about trying to get a 4-county coalition going of Benton, Decatur, Wayne, and Henry about trying to get Highway 641 expansion all the way from Kentucky to Alabama. And Benton County, we've talked about 4 lanes for years. I think all of our life we've always heard about 4 lanes, but when you're going to do a project like this, it's better to go into an application 4 counties instead of 1. So you tend to get noticed, you tend to make, you expand your influence of persuasion to the higher level officials. So hopefully in the years to come, we'll begin seeing some serious discussion about 4-laning Highway 641. Also, let's see. We're not leaving anything out. We've also applied for a multimodal access grant to basically construct sidewalks about 100 yards past the corner of the school, all the way down to the intersection of the state highway, all the way up over the hill, I guess where it comes in, past Bible Hill Road and all the way down to the Baptist Church. So we're trying to make it where, school kids, if they happen to be walking here to the school, they've got a little bit more safer access to do that instead of having to walk on the road. Of course, we know there's not a lot of, residential, development in this area, but you gotta start somewhere. To me, it enhances the community. That's something that won't cost you as a local taxpayer, a penny. We've already been able to secure our grant matching funds from another grant source. So at the end of the day, we're leveraging your money towards this particular grant. Anything else? So I will take this time to field a few questions now. Anybody? Go ahead.
Oh, I'm curious.
I've written down my first one. Oh, well, I'll let her go first.
Did you volunteer for this appointment, or were you called up?
Well, I volunteered when I joined the military. We have an all volunteer army. But no one volunteers for a deployment that I know of. I'm a member of a unit that is on a rotational cycle. I deployed with this unit 10 years ago. I've been a member of it since its inception. So I don't know, I've heard that about volunteering for deployment. I think a comment like that is kind of ludicrous.
Well, thank you.
You know what I mean? I mean, not yours,
No,
but
yeah,
how that
I
gets
know
out.
exactly what you mean.
That you volunteer for deployment. But, one thing, I wouldn't want to do that.
My father
Because I'm a
volunteered
county
for
mayor.
Vietnam, so
Yeah.
I understand that you can
But-
certainly volunteer.
And I've heard, like I say, I've heard that comment, and it just doesn't make sense. I'm a county mayor, I can understand, answering the call to duty of what I'm doing right now. But to volunteer for it would mean I'm trying to skirt my duty as a county mayor.
Well,
So I don't think there's any honor in that. However, I would say that, all the chit chat that's gone around for about the last month, I'm sure there would have been a lot of other county mayors that would have been raising their hands in a heartbeat, saying, get me out of here as fast as you can get me.
this is what we think of you.
But not me. I've been a member of this unit. This is my 5th deployment. It's kind of what happens when you're in the National Guard, and it's just the timing of it. It's just it's not the best of times. But again, I'm gonna answer the call of duty when they come.
Are you gonna be back in time to register for the next election?
Yes, I should be back around April of next year. The way it works is you've got to get over in the theater, and then your clock starts, and then you have basically 9 months boots on the ground. Of course, there's processing time to get there. There's processing time when you get back. That's why I'm trying to say roughly the deployment will last 10 to 10 and a half months from start to finish. So that puts me back anywhere from April 1st to May 1st of next year, if all goes well, and I can't mention specifics, but let's just say that if there's probably going to be another Osama bin Laden emerge in our world, it's probably going to come from the African area, and the Chinese have started moving in with great influence.
Well, they've got Biden, so they can do that.
Well, and they've been there for a while. The Chinese wants to be, a major world player, and we know that the Gulf is where oil reserves are, and those who control the Gulf, they control the influence of the world, and so there's a Chinese element that hasn't been there in years past that's beginning to emerge. There's a large Islamic element there, and we know that when you look at the Islamic world over there, it's very tumultuous, and so we're there for stability, peace, but also to make sure that American interest is protected worldwide. So,
That's a much different world.
any other questions?
I have a question. Do you believe in freedom of speech?
Yes, I do.
Okay, do you believe in freedom of speech anywhere?
Well, I guess it depends.
Oh,
Be more specific, because people can conceive things of being freedom of speech, and it's not. It's a personal platform upon their market, and so,
Okay.
you know, we
Let
know
me say
that.
this, when you have a platform that you deem, put at the top of it, government platform,
Mhm.
and then you ban somebody for political satire,
Yeah,
how is that freedom of speech? How is that no different than the Gestapo and the Nazis?
okay, well, see, that's your interpretation.
No,
okay?
that's the law.
No, that,
There's been-
your interpretation is that your post.
Trump
was a-
has been sued for banning someone from his
Okay.
Twitter, therefore the.
Okay, let me finish the conversation. Again,
So you're
you know,
going against the
we'll get into that conversation. But your interpretation is that your speech was free. That
It
it was,
is.
that it was a genuinely innocent speech. But what if you went into a theater and you yelled fire?
But I didn't yell
Okay,
fire,
but
did I?
maybe.
It was political satire, which has been ruled in the second
Okay.
appellate court and the fourth appellate court
Did
as freedom of
you,
speech.
let me ask you this, did you doctor a photo of me?
Yes, I did. It's political satire, that's what
Okay,
that's
okay.
called.
It was a fraudulent.
No, it
depiction.
wasn't, that is
No.
classified
No.
under
You
political
used
satire.
my photo.
A
You used
public
my
photo. A public
to promote
photo.
your personal fraudulently depicted. You were nowhere in that photo, were you?
No, but I can put myself.
Not
in it if
even,
you
not
like.
even you were not even a party to that photo, were you?
It was put on a public government
And
site.
so-
I'm
and so-
allowed
and
to
so
use
our-
that
and
for
so- and
political
so
satire.
our-
Have you not ever heard of memes?
And so, it doesn't matter. You had me depicting to the public something false, something
So
that I would not
right
have said.
now, correct me if I'm wrong, is this not, Facebook Live?
Yeah.
Okay, so right now, I can't even get on and make a comment. That's being used, this is being run on that makes it a government
And-
site.
and-
A government site cannot limit
First of all, I
somebody's
created it
speech.
before I became a government official, okay?
Okay, but you did
It was
list
not
it,
created
that
while I
you're
became
using
a
it for
government
government,
official.
are you using it for government business right now?
I will
Yes.
do that to promote, information to the public, and here's the deal.
That makes it a government
Just
site.
consider it, like, you know, when you go and you, say the wrong thing to your mother, do you think, or your parents, and they
So-
wash your mouth
You're
after
not our
sex?
So you're our
Yeah,
parent
so-
now? So you're our parent now?
No, what I'm
That's
getting.
exactly what
That's
you
what
just
I
said,
said.
thank
This
you.
is-
I'm
Thank
you're-
you.
because she's fraudulent and you're
He
dead.
voted
So
for you.
here's
you
what,
were
so it's like,
for
well, we
us.
don't always say the right things to our mother and father as we're growing up, right? What do? They say they wash their mouth after sex. So was that freedom of speech? Did they doctor anything?
You're not my father.
So, but.
You are our elected official,
Well, let me
which
tell you,
means you work
I
for
will
me,
not,
which puts me in the
at the end
parent
of
role,
the day,
not you.
at the end of the day, I will not have fraudulently depicted photo on a web page or
That's okay.
social platform
It's not up to
that I
you.
created.
It's not, but see, that's the
And
thing,
you
it's not up to
didn't
you.
take me to court.
It's not up to you,
Then
and that is
take me to court.
technically not your platform, that is technically
Okay.
Mark
I do
Zuckerberg.
not believe that was free speech, that was a fraudulent
So you get
accusation.
to decide
So,
what speech
yeah,
is
what-
free.
I'm gonna decide that.
Well, you're wrong.
Wow, when did
You
you
can-
become?
but I will not come on your page.
Woo-hoo!
I will not come on your page and tell you what you can.
I'm not a public official,
But
I didn't ask to be in that
I like,
spotlight.
and that is not what you call a government represented page.
Is it not running a government forum tonight that is nowhere
It is
else?
a- it is
That
a
no,
public
that I could not
information
go
page.
look up anywhere else if I wasn't.
And most
sitting
people
here.
get the post thing,
Can I
but not a
speak-
fraudulent depiction.
Can I speak to that for right this second? We are not currently live right now due to the restrictions in the school. I have no internet service here because Facebook has been
But
denied.
if it was live, I would not be able to comment. That's the thing.
No, you would because
No,
it would
no,
be.
I can't, he has
it
me
would be-
blocked.
it would
He
be-
has blocked me on that. I cannot.
Okay, if
Can
this
I
was a
speak
live
to that?
forum,
Or because my
if this was a
people
live
use
forum,
them
you
for
can
this.
comment in the live forum. I'm hosting a live forum.
Can I
You
speak-
And I'm
can
here
comment.
because I can't sit at home and do what I would
Well, I'll
like
tell
to.
you, my interpretation was it was a fraudulent depiction of me. You posted a fraudulent depiction of me.
So you
So
think
you're
you
the
got
lawbreaker.
butthurt.
It was political
You're
satire,
deciding
which
that
is
it's-
covered
you're
under
deciding
the
that it's
First
not-
Amendment.
but that's your
Political
definition.
satire is covered,
But
no,
you-
that's not my definition,
No,
that's the law.
When you claim that your picture was political satire, I'm saying it's not, so who's right?
Wow,
I
so how, having a picture of you holding a sign that says, I love Mark Ward, her butt hurts you so bad that you've got to block somebody, that really shows what kind of character
And
he's
it's
got.
so
Well, okay, and you're free, that's your opinion, you're free to express your opinion.
It's kind of rude.
Well, I think you're being just stop.
We always have a public library and people can always open up their own site, Benton County, just like you do. And if they wanna protest you, then they can open up their site. I'm
But
not
the thing is,
defending them
if
or
it
you.
is, but if it is being used as a public forum, like a town square, the law says that that is covered under the First Amendment.
So-
It
so
doesn't matter
would-
if I do political.
would you
satire.
like me to
I can
explain
go
to
on
this
public
to you, or do you
names
just
if
wanna
I want
keep
to,
yelling
but I
at us?
didn't.
I mean, I can explain this to you, but you're gonna have to shut up for 5 seconds, let me tell you what's gonna happen.
People,
And who are you that I have to shut up?
I'm just saying, you want me to explain to you, or do you
I
want me to
can,
just
I
do
can
your
show
own
you
thing?
the court documents.
Okay, so here's the thing, if I put this on Facebook, it's going on the county website, not his Believe in Benton, which means it's an actual government site, and that you are allowed to be a part of.
Okay, so why is it right here that I have it, where it says that it was gonna go live through Believe in Benton?
I didn't post that.
Right now, you are banned from that site, okay?
I'm not
Oh,
even
thank
on
you for
Facebook.
taking that.
You posted a fraudulent depiction, I think Facebook removes people all the time. for
No,
it.
they don't, not for me.
Not for me.
Okay, well,
Well,
but we
only
see
if
it, we
it's
see where they
pro-Trump.
do it, just like you mentioned Twitter, banning Trump or whatever. And it went to the higher courts, and what's the one court, that did it, the Fourth or Fifth Circuit or something like that, one of the more
It was
liberal?
the second appellate court for one and the fourth appellate court for Davison versus, I can't remember the other name. But yeah, both times. Now, yes, did they kick Trump's back down and after they managed to falsely dethrone him? Yeah, they kicked that one out. The other one, however, they did not, and that
Well,
was
again, that's a
specifically
court
Facebook.
process.
That
That's a
was
court process. So
specifically
if you feel
Facebook.
like you've been wronged, there's a process for you to follow.
Oh, and I'm following it.
Well, you're more welcome to. Ron, you got it.
I don't want to bring up an
I already
issue.
said, I can't even get on Facebook, they crash mine.
JR's got a incident he'd like to bring
as
up.
we speak, before they speak, would they please stand up and say their name?
All right.
Oh, I'm Christy Baldwin, if anybody'd like to know.
And who's your mama?
Her mother isn't here.
Is my mother here?
I didn't ask.
I'm my own woman, I'm 45 years old. You got a problem with me, come to me, don't go to my mama.
Your Facebook says you're from Kentucky.
Well, I don't know where you've been reading, because I'm from Benton County my entire life.
Really?
What Christy Baldwin you been looking up?
Had your picture on.
Well, mine doesn't have my picture, it has his picture on the
Oh,
sign
really?
that says, I hate free speech. Yeah, and I made that mean too.
Why would you put his name, picture up there?
Because he won't let me put it on his site.
That's the point. His
I don't
side,
It's
you
not
said,
his side.
his side,
It's
you
not
just
the
said.
side he made
You
it.
just
He
said,
used it
it
as a public
is his
forum.
side and his property.
Oh my
you
God,
want-
shut up, you done screwed up this county enough anyway.
Oh,
You and
yeah.
Mark Goins, how much money you making for me as an S?
And so, again,
Oh, I'm
that's
from
false
$90 million
accusations, right?
driving
That's your opinion,
triple
of
that car.
accusations that you cannot prove, right? Just like a lot of your Facebook, right? You put a fraudulent photo, that is
Oh, so
your
It
opinion.
wasn't claiming to be true, so how
It
is
was
it fraudulent?
political satire.
Go
Have you not
for it.
ever
You've
heard
got
of
your
it?
own page to do whatever public expression you want to do.
But if I wanna put it on a government page, I'm allowed to.
Are you allowed to spray paint the side of this building?
It's not a government.
That you, hold up, I know, but I'm not spray painting his house, I'm putting it on a public site that is used as a public.
Are you
I'm
allowed
not
to
gonna
post anything
allow
on the government
fraudulent
site?
depiction, on the page.
How is it
Whether
fraudulent
anybody,
not
if you're gonna go in there and spew a fraudulent accusation, it's going to be
So
removed.
you hate Mark Ward?
No.
Well, you know what, I think this is the wrong place. You know, if you need to do anything about it, take him to court.
Yeah.
Oh, we are.
We don't wanna hear it. It's what us,
I agree.
It's free
Well,
speech.
wow, so free speech, I love how free speech works, because
Again,
it's
your
not like I can
interpretation
go
of free
anywhere else.
speech. You can say everything you want, anytime you want, anywhere you want, right?
So is
I mean,
this
that's
the-
your version of free speech, which the courts have said. You cannot say everything you want to say, like in
No, I couldn't come in here
like
and
in a
call a
crowded
fire,
room.
but how
crowded
is
theater.
a political satire picture of you the same as hollering fire in
Political
a crowded
satire.
room?
And that's why I say, you can put it on your page, okay? But as soon as you put it on another venue outside of your own personal
Any
page,
page that you
come
start,
under
since you're a
the
political
rules of
figure,
that
makes
personal
it
page.
a
Like, we could take John Doe or Jane Doe right here, that they can remove anybody from posting on there, anything. I mean, again, as soon as you leave your page, you become subject to the rules of the other page. Your argument is that it's a government page.
If it is being used as a government town square, then it's subject to different rules.
Well, okay, and there's your argument, so make your argument, you know. Okay, and that's why I said, well, now, so we're gonna move on from this subject. Yesterday, the National Weather Service, came to Benton County and awarded us a storm-ready community designation. Now, a lot of y'all may have already read this, and a lot of times we'll say, what does that do for Benton County? I'll just JR, we don't remember. So as y'all know, one of the concerns that we had in county government a few years back was that we were having tornadoes or severe events in the north and south ends of our county where we were not getting timely notifications. Like, you don't want to know that a tornado is coming to your house 5 minutes after it's passed your house, right? You want to know 15 minutes before. So after a lot of public discussions, bringing our weather spotter network into our discussion platform, we realized that we could improve the situation. And the way we improve our situation is we simply coordinate within our communities, but amongst our emergency management departments, to be able to get you timely notifications in severe weather. So, what we did is we brought the National Weather Service in here to kind of give us a checklist of what it takes to become storm ready. We followed it. With now, as a result of 2.5 years of hard work, we've got a designation of storm ready community. This was, do y'all have any questions? I mean, y'all?
No, we're
Oh, I
talking
think
about.
those two hushed down when they were talking.
So we're very proud of this designation simply because at the end of the day, minutes and seconds matter when it comes to your public safety and life. And as we've seen with our tornado last March, one of the goals of our storm ready community was to get code red initiated in Benton County. Our county government made that action about 2 years ago, I believe it was, in July of 2019. The code red alert actually went off the night of the tornado hit. It gave everyone 8 minutes max, and we believe that families were safe. We did have one fatality that night, but when you surveyed the tornado site, you realize that those fatalities could have been anywhere from 10 to 15 more very easily. And in all of our discussions, they said code red saved our lives. That they got that notification either on their phones in time to be able to seek shelter. So that's why these storm ready initiatives that the county, along with its citizens, have made, it makes a big difference. Big difference, and we're going to continue to improve there.
My name's Ron Patton. I live in Holladay, Tennessee here. I got a new phone number. Do I need to call somebody?
Yes, you'll need to re-register. You can go to our government website and
I
there.
don't have the internet.
Get with me and I'll get your number put in the system.
Thank you, sir.
We can either manually enter, you can do it yourself, or you can go via the internet to do it. But there's multiple venues. It will alert you via phone or email.
My phone's been hacked, and so I had to change my number. I'll get with you.
Get with me and I'll get it put in the system.
Thank you.
So again, part of the initiatives that we're following on this is also storm shelters. Right now, we're having to piggyback off of a partnership with our local churches in our communities. A lot of times churches aren't always built for storm shelter ready infrastructure. So our ultimate goal is to begin looking at what we call FEMA grants to construct a storm shelter here in Holladay and one in Big Sandy. Those will be our first two. And once we get those established, we'll look at the communities of probably Eva and parts of West Camden. After that, these storm shelters can range anywhere from about $200,000 to $400,000 in cost. What we've been able to do is take our governor's discretionary grant and hold money aside to make our matching grant. So at the end of the day, a I'd say a $300,000 FEMA grant may cost us $40,000. So we wanted to make sure that we took the other grant monies and put it over here in this pocket, that if we end up getting that FEMA shelter grant, that we can take that grant money to actually make our match. At the end of the day, we'll build storm shelter in both of these communities at no cost to our local tax base. But until we get to that point, I'm feeling it's probably might be a 2-year process to get to that point. We're gonna have to rely on local churches. So, you know, y'all are the Holladay community. If you've got a particular church that would be willing to open its doors in time of severe weather, contact our emergency management office, Mr. Richard Key or Scott Hill, and they will come out and inspect the site. And once it's deemed, I guess, worthy to act as a storm shelter, we'll get the schedule of when it would be available. Some churches make theirs available on some days, others don't. And depending on a severe weather event, our EMA department will get to work. They'll call if it looks like Big Sandy is going to have some severe weather, they'll call 2 or 3 churches in the Big Sandy area. It's the same thing with Holladay. They'll call 2 or 3 churches in the Holladay area to ensure that if you don't have a basement or a place of safety, you've got access to them. Anything else on that storm ready that?
We're also, me and Ben Richardson are going to be looking into other area businesses about storm ready light, as what Gary Woodall announced yesterday about. So we're going to be looking into other businesses that have facilities that could be used as storm shelters, and see if they could be our support personnel or support partners. Sorry.
And then last night, I think this is a really good news for this area as well, is that we've got some federal monies coming down that the county is going to be able to dispense amongst several areas for the welfare and general benefit of its citizens and county operations. So I, along with your first district commissioners, sponsor a resolution to say, okay, out of that particular money that's coming down, we would like for fresh water, treated water expansion in the south end of the county. We know that the freshwater footprint here is very small. The North Utility District is the service provider for this particular area. And one of the qualifications of this money is that you can put it towards utility infrastructure. So last night we, in a way internally, we didn't make the appropriation yet because the monies have not gotten to us yet. But we made a commitment to the citizens that when the money comes in, we're going to apply $500,000 towards treated water expansion to the North Utility District for the south end of the county. So we've gone to North Utility District to tell them what we wanted to do, because the money will flow through us to the North Utility District. Of course, they service Decatur County, but part of the requirements is they can't take your Benton County money and go put it into Decatur County expansion. They have to put it in to South Benton County. But they also told us that if you can get that particular kind of money to us, that they're willing to come to the plate with about $300,000 of additional monies put into that pot to improve the water infrastructure down in this area. So I felt like that was a huge win that we're not used to seeing. I think it's a very beneficial thing for the Holladay community in the south end of Benton County. And over time, again, these things don't move fast. You rarely get an opportunity like this, but I'm glad that the county decided to reinvest back into the county. There's a lot of uses for that money, and sometimes it gets pulled in every direction. We did the same thing for the Big Sandy community. We took $500,000 and said they have a sewer problem, and their sewer problem is to the tune of about close to $2 million. And how does a small community like Big Sandy, of roughly 500 residents, how are they going to pay for that? So the county stepped up to the plate again and said, we're going to do this for Holladay. We're going to take $500,000 and we're going to put it into their sewer upgrade. And then the other part of that was our volunteer fire departments are in need. A lot of times when our volunteer fire departments are helped, they'll get a grant that goes towards a particular piece of equipment like a ladder truck or a water truck, something that's a very expensive piece. But a lot of times you don't get a chance to help your local volunteer fire departments with what you call discretionary money. They need breathing apparatuses and clothing and apparel, protective clothing and apparel, and that's not cheap. And just to equip one firefighter is usually about $7,500 a firefighter. So we embarked and say that we can help our volunteer fire departments. There's 8 of them totally. 7 of them are volunteer, the other is the city of Camden, that's the 8th one. We took our 7 county volunteer fire departments and said, we're gonna give you $75,000 each, and we're gonna give the rescue squad $75,000. So there's 8 entities, total bill of $600,000, but your county commissioners last night voted to say, we're gonna help our volunteer fire departments, because the better we set them up for success, the better safety for the public.
2 questions on that, water improvement. Is that running sewer out through here, or is that running new water pipes to individual houses?
And our goal is for new expansion, because
So new water lines out further in the country.
expanding.
We've got people plumb out on National Trade don't have a water. All the
But-
water's
but
bad
it
and
won't
rusty.
be sewer.
No sewer, just running water.
Okay, now what about the storm shelters as far as the FEMA grant? Is there any way individuals can apply with this to get a storm shelter put at their house with the FEMA grant?
Probably not, not for, I'm not gonna say that they don't exist. More than likely, they don't. You know, this would be a shelter that's open to a community. I'm sure they build storm shelters for individuals, you know, and there might be,
Yeah, they do.
there might be low income, there might be people that qualify for, you know, small business, or personal loans that might be relieved from another entity, but I don't know of one
Okay.
on the FEMA level that.
I was just curious.
Jayville's got a big storm shelter right there by the city hall.
I wouldn't make it there in time.
That's a big block. I'm just saying, that's what they done for their community.
But if you wanna go see one, that's a good one, and we would have to probably partner with the Board of Education, because I think one of those particular shelters would
Up
be
here
best
on the
served.
corner where that J&S business is, might be nice to buy that.
Yeah,
And add
yeah.
it to a storm shelter.
So, but either way, what I'm getting at is you don't get these type of monies every day. And so the county focus was, we need to take some of that money and reinvest it back into the communities. Because you know, when government can blow through money pretty fast. And so,
I was unsure, that's why I asked. I
So,
appreciate it, Brett.
I'm glad that we took at least half of that money and put it back into to the citizens' benefit. Now, again, that doesn't mean it happens overnight.
Right.
We've got 3 years to basically get it initiated. But the good news is we're hoping that $500,000 goes to new expansion, and then the $300,000 that North Utility brings to the table will simply upgrade what they already have, you know, so that they both work together. Angie Hearn, who is another one of your first district commissioners, has been appointed to that board, so that you have a representative from your community down there voicing your concerns. And so, you know, we believe we're gonna see some very positive actions in the future.
Brett, I talked to JR, just a little bit off subject about there. The cannons we got from up there around the square we had redone, been down there. He wanna make sure that has the paperwork on it. He's got 4-stage cancer. Wanna make sure that we don't lose his guns. Anything been done in that?
Well, you know,
Charles?
we refurbished those, and those were ultimately the property or custodial property through the American Legion. And so I know that we've not lost any control of any cannon, you know what I mean, from the American Legion perspective. At the end of the day, the American Legion.
Do you have any proof of that?
Is the proper custodian. Well, the proof of that would be the serial number on that particular piece of machinery. You know?
Here's my point. First of all, let me tell everybody here. I chased those cannons for 5 years all over this county. I talked to 2 different mayors, I talked to the VA rep, I talked to commissioners, I talked to everybody. Everybody gave me this one story. we do not know who they belong to. They're sitting out by the city park, rusting down. I talked to that man right there. 6 weeks later, they were loaded on a truck and hauled out and refurbished. They look like new. One of them is at the Veterans Memorial Park on that God's forsaken hill out there in the middle of nowhere. That county takes more of their dogs and cats than they do their veterans, dead or alive. If you don't believe it, go out there and look at the animal shelter down there on the main road. But anyhow, with that being said, one of those cabins is on that hill. And the other one is at Darrell Berry's personal museum on loan. But my question is, my understanding is Darrell Berry has stage 4 prostate cancer. Okay. If he leaves here, which we're all gonna leave here, when he leaves here, what's gonna happen to that gun? If there's no paperwork and signed that says that gun still belongs to Benton County or the American Legion, wherever, if it's in his museum, his family's gonna claim that gun.
Well, the one thing about, he would have no proof of ownership of that particular gun.
Well, you don't let me on it.
And so at the end of the day, the serial number ties it back to the American Legion. I'll ask the American Legion commander, I'll get with him as soon as I get in my car leaving, and I'll make sure that they follow that trail a little bit tighter.
Right.
And I'll have them get with you, I'll give them your number. But that is something, that's definitely a valid point. And I don't know what the process was at the American Legion took. I'm just gonna say that I'm glad that we were able to step up to the plate to preserve those valuable pieces of American military, the accoutrements of the American military and their representation to the community.
I do too. Those guns been sitting out there. I talked to Mr. Glendon Allen, and he volunteered for the service in 45, and those guns were sitting out front of the selective service building in Nia. And so
The drought board, didn't it? Was the old drought board that originally had it?
yeah, the selective service board down there.
Were you drafted?
I'm almost certain it was.
That's a Vietnam vet, and that's
I didn't volunteer for Vietnam either.
What year?
67.
all right. Ward, are we leaving anything?
I think you got everything written.
Is there anything that,
No, I don't have anything specifically. If there's any questions that you guys want to ask me, I'd be glad to answer.
what about on the federal level? Y'all got any updates,
Do I need to stand in a certain location?
you can stand over here where I am.
Yeah, you'll stand in the light side of the room, unfortunately.
Light side.
Okay, this is Congressman Green's,
Can't get
field
the
rep
lights
Sam
on.
Nino.
It's good to see everyone again. As Mayor Lash just said, Sam Nino with Congressman Mark Green. I'm the field representative for Benton County. It's good to be with you all today. Just wanted to give you a few little updates from last time. I know, for those of you who don't know, Congressman Green has been put on the Armed Services Committee and Foreign Affairs Committee. He's one of 2 congressmen to be on both of those committees, so he's really focused on the military. Yes, sir. Was there any questions? Okay, great. He's actually the ranking member on the Western Hemisphere's subcommittee. So he's the top Republican in that committee when we're talking about Central America, South America, and dealing with those issues there. We've been passing, I don't know if you guys have followed up on Whiteboard Wednesdays or in media, but we've been passing a lot of bills lately, or not passing, but introducing a lot of legislation, including trying to ban to teach critical race theory at our service academies, West Point, Naval Academy, Air Force Academy, like those. Make sure that we are bringing unity to those folks that are going to be serving together and not having more division there. Another bill is to make it a constitutional amendment to have a 3/5 majority, so at least 60% in the House to raise any taxes. That's something that if we're going to be raising taxes, to be something that we all agree on and not just on a partisan line. And then another bill is just, and the K2 legislation for those veterans that served in Iraq and during the war there. I know a lot of those soldiers that were about the K2 bases had issues there. And so he helped introduce a piece of legislation. Actually, it has bipartisan support. There's 72 co-sponsors in the House right now. 48 are Republicans, 24 Democrats, including Congressman Cooper down in Nashville, to try to make more of a connection between what happened at those bases and the medical issues that folks may be getting from that. Again, I'll say one other thing from our office is for those of you who have students that might be seniors interested in military service, our service academy process is open for those that might want to be nominated for that. I don't know how many of y'all, if you knew Ian Hudson, he applied for office back in 2019 and he got nominated from Congressman Green, and I think he's over at the Naval Academy right now, the Naval or Air Force Academy, I can't remember. But yeah, he was very good. So if you know anyone else that's interested, I'm the Service Academy Coordinator too, so I'm more than happy to speak with them, kind of help them with that application process with the academies and with our office as well. I do have a lot of business cards here, so if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer those as well. So, but thank you for having me here tonight. It's always good to be back. And yeah, and I'll be staying afterwards if you guys have any questions or
Right to have you. Enjoy Holladay.
Absolutely. Anything, Jay?
I'll give a quick word real quick. My name is Jake Rogers, and I'm with Congressman David Kustoff's office over in the 8th District. We did have a little part of Benton County up toward the north there. I cover weekly Henry Gibson, Carroll, and the piece of Benton County we have. A couple of things that have been going on with Congressman Kustoff. He was recently at the border a few weeks back, trying to bring some attention to that. It's obviously something we need to get locked down, get some hands on right there with that. He recently signed on to co-sponsor a bill trying to bring some relief to our local pharmacies as well in West Tennessee. Kind of like Sam said, I'll be staying after for a little bit. Be more glad to chat with anybody. Thank y'all for letting me be here.
How many people from the border are being sent here in the Benton area? Me and my dad noticed a bus, and quite a few by the interstate. Is anybody aware of that?
I'm not aware of it.
They were all Spanish on Guatemala. I know Biden sending them to Tennessee for sanctuary cities. That's just, don't you just aware of
Well,
that?
and then, like I said, it's, I know the county government's not been notified or anything like that, and I don't know the way those processes work, if they actually notify.
In your defense, I don't think they do. They just bust a ton load into Nashville and Knoxville. Didn't tell anybody.
Yeah, Governor Lee actually, because President Biden asked Governor if folks who come into Tennessee, those immigrants that are coming over, and Governor Lee said no, but President Biden brought them in anyways.
Right.
So that's actually another bill that Congressman Green introduced, was to stop. You have to get a governor's permission in order to bring someone in. So yeah, we could try to find out how many of you come into Benton County. Jake and
My dad noticed.
And I think something as a citizen, I would be concerned is, do we have a recourse, in that matter? You know what I mean? Can they force that action, upon a local county or something like that? I don't know the rules on that, but that's something that if y'all have. Since, Chrissy, I know that, I'll give you a shout out because, I guess a couple of years ago, you came to me about the soccer association and about that we could improve soccer, availability in Benton County, and we have finally got the final drawings up. If you want me to, I'll text you the drawings that we're gonna do. I give you the credit because you started that whole process,
Look, it wasn't just me. We have.
And I knew that y'all had an issue there. But, we went from taking timber money, is what we call it. We sold timber like we did on the industrial park, made money, we thought this is an excellent opportunity to build a field, right? So we started off with thinking maybe we could get one field. That's grown in a good way. But what we've done is, we finally had to extract that field off so that we could have what you call ownership of it, just for the park. And we had to have it surveyed, and we had to have it topographical, because, it does flood in that area, even though it's not in a floodplain. We got minor league football, and they had their problem at the same time, and they kind of came in and helped join hands in that, and said, look, we've got a lot of parents and financial resources too, that we can help. So between the soccer and the minor league football, we're gonna build two regulation size soccer fields. Sodded, they're gonna have, they won't have irrigation in the fields, but they'll have water lines beside them so that we can run sprinkler systems through the field. It's gonna come with a parking lot. We're looking at trying to get a portable public bathroom unit there, but we may have to go with porta potties at first. And that's something where maybe the soccer association, maybe we rent porta potties for the year and we find some type of service like that, but we are projecting that this is probably gonna cost us around $140,000 to do this whole thing. So we've got roughly about $90,000 to $100,000 of the timber sale money still in pots. So that's going to go into that particular project, and we'll probably try to find a way to go with our these federal funds that are coming down and using that to bridge that gap. The plans are there, ready to bid out. It's just gotta go to the public bid, and we're gonna miss this season, that's probably, but by next season, y'all should have some first-class soccer fields. And since you're involved in that, I'm just gonna say that, y'all in the minor league football association just really need to be partners in this. Somebody's gonna step on someone's toe that sometime, hey, we need it this weekend, but we're using it. We're gonna have to figure that out. But two fields allows us.
I think we play at the same times every
I know,
Saturday.
and maybe we have to look at going to a spring season versus fall season, either way, but that's why we went with the two fields. Because if we have those conflicting events, y'all use this field, we'll use this field. At least we got, I'm just happy we've got options that we hadn't had before. But I'm gonna be gone, for 10 months, and I'm gonna need you involved in this process. Kenny, Kennison boy, Jimmy Kennison, he's met with me multiple times, so if you know him, Chris, Pearsall, is it Pearsall?
Yeah, here's all.
Just make sure y'all two leads are talking to one another. Any other questions? We've got commissioners here,
Illegals that come into Tennessee. Will make them legal. That's what we all said.
All right, well, I
I
guess,
think a lot of them want to know.
I appreciate y'all coming, point counterpoint, I'm glad we have a town hall meeting, we didn't have these before, and whether we agree or disagree, at least we've got the opportunity, to meet with the public officials and express their concerns, and,
Have we talked now?
I know as long as I'm your mayor, we're gonna continue these, so thank you for coming.
Well, it's going to be